Another year of movies are in the books. What were the best? What were the worst? Find out on this episode of Alter Ending when we look at our top 5 movies of 2018.
Tune in to Alternate Ending now.
Welcome to Alter Ending. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarasinski.
I'm Carrie, the casual moviegoer.
She almost forgot. It was
great. It was great. And I'm Tim, the critic in residence.
Very nice. So yeah, we're looking at our top 5 movies of 2018.
I've already screwed up.
You've already screwed up?
No, it's great. We're going to run with it.
It's a live show.
This is the dawn of a new era. And the new era will involve Carrie
making more mistakes.
Can we even, so we're back for the 4th season, obviously a little bit of a different format. Can we call this a podcast anymore?
Well, I think most people will be engaging with it as a podcast.
I agree. Because what is our normal runtime is like an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, we're going to try and cut it down.
We're going to try and get it down to like an hour
brief.
and 25 minutes.
So for those listening in podcast form, we're actually a live video show now. Not live, but we're recorded.
A pre-recorded video show.
Yes, that Tim has gaffed this room in our basement.
So, well, let's not say that until we know that it looks good on video.
Okay, so if
some urchin that we took in off the street has gaffed this for us.
If it looks good, then it was Tim. If it looks terrible.
You forgot the decor for the coffee table
we don't have
upstairs.
Decor.
We don't have decor? You need decor.
You keep talking, Rob. I'm going to go get some decor.
Okay, go get some decor, and then we'll fill it with some decorum.
Wait,
as
you're
well,
actually going to get decor?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
So we had a little bit of, I said we're starting season 4. We were supposed to start season 4 last week, but our family came down.
But Noro was the case.
No, Noro.
You see what I just did
happened. There? It started with our oldest, and then moved to our youngest, and then to me.
Yeah.
And somehow, Carrie, you survived.
It's just a mom thing. Our bodies are impervious to illness because even if we were ill, who's going to do any of the work? Mm-hmm. So I feel as though my body just fought it off knowing that our kids needed to eat and stuff.
And Tim,
I think you poisoned your children.
It's possible. You're
a germaphobe. Would anything have brought you here knowing that there was no
germaphobe? What the hell are you
not
talking about?
I mean,
I teach.
Yes, that's true.
And he shakes hands. He hugs. He's a hugger.
I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
Are you a teacher that hugs?
Sometimes I lick hobos.
Yeah.
That's how you build up your immunity.
Only the clean parts, though. You only clean only the clean parts.
Is
of the
there
hobos.
a clean part?
Some. You never know.
Sure.
So we have new digs here. We're doing video now. I thought
we have pivoted to video.
We're pivoting to video. We're also going to be pivoting to a little bit of a different way of delivering different types of content. We're going to be obviously going to be coming back with our top 5 episodes, which is what this will be. We're going to be doing that 2 times a month.
2 times a month rather than 4 times because these 2 yahoos decided that they wanted to be present in their children's lives. And they wanted to enjoy their marriage and whatever.
Yeah, I don't know about that last
part. But you're not
there.
losing anything. You're ultimately gaining a video, two videos a month. It's like net positive. You're getting 4 things a month. You were getting 4 things, but then in addition, Carrie and I,
so it's a net
zero, net neutral. And Carrie and I are doing more and more movie review videos. So you probably saw the most recent one that we did on Glass that came out, which we were pretty excited about. That perfect timing. You had your Glass movie review that came out. And then we're doing a little bit something where proof of concept with some trailer reactions. So
we're trying this out. I don't love seeing trailers because I always feel like they're so spoilery sometimes. So I feel like even by watching these, I am spoiling it for myself. But hopefully I can forget it afterwards before we go see them.
That seems like a good strategy.
So at least once a week, you're going to be getting 1, maybe 2 pieces of content in 4 different, potentially two different forms. So 4 things.
We're going to be fucking dumping content out. Of course, the downside here, you'll only be getting 2 pieces of content with myself a month.
That's true.
So it is
a downer.
It is kind of a net negative.
Can we tease out what's maybe happening in the summer? I know you don't like to get too far ahead of yourself before delivering.
I would like,
because
at some point, I don't want to put a date on it.
Okay.
There will be video essays eventually.
You'll finally
May 1.
Be sure you cut to this camera because I'm doing the eventually there will be video essays. That's going to be contingent on my life, which is so hard to predict.
Very nice.
But eventually.
I will benefit from that. I could use knowing how to watch movies better.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of the impetus for that.
Yeah, I could.
No question there.
Tim was uncertain on whether or not he wanted to do this, and then we showed him some examples of some of the existing commentary on how people explain things like cinematography and camera angles, and Tim was appalled at. the delivery of information.
There's a niche
There's the niche.
that has not yet been filled, and I think we can reasonably fill it.
You're good at filling those.
Speaking of things that aren't filled, we got a lot of nice comments from those. I think our break ended up being 16 or 6 weeks.
16 weeks.
6 weeks. And we got a lot of nice comments from folks, multiple comments saying that we really miss you. Like I was,
From your
a
mom.
regular, mostly just my mom writing in saying that, we were filling the there's an alternate ending shaped hole in their lives.
And mine as well.
I think you're making
and I
that
think
up,
so,
but I'm
no.
going to take it. I'm going to take it anyway.
People wrote in. There was at
Okay.
least one.
At least one.
Who wasn't my mom.
Many people.
But no, we really appreciate that. That's the motivation to come back. We're also you're going to be noticing some changes, hopefully in the next couple of weeks on the website itself, trying to make it a little bit more user friendly, change the layout and some things, and to accommodate all of this new different type of content too. So be on the lookout for all those things. But in those 6 weeks, we probably took in a shit ton of movies.
Yes.
Because we were all cramming to see what would be the top. I didn't want to leave a stone unturned of saying, I didn't catch that one. And it might have qualified. So I'm curious, Kara, how many movies did you see roughly? And then you look unprepared in the last 6 weeks,
I know.
more or less.
No, I know. More or less.
So really like since January 1st, let's see.
What if I said 17?
That would match up. I think we've seen the same amount. So that matches up exactly.
17. I saw 17 movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
At one point, it had been 50 in the month of January, and that point was a few days ago, so I know it's higher than 50.
Okay, higher than 50.
Less than 100, more than 50.
I'm not 100% sure it's less than 100.
Okay.
It's probably less than 100.
And like I say,
No, it's probably around 70 since last time we recorded. 75.
little disappointing. I did not.
I tried really hard, okay? I couldn't get to 100. I thought I would be able to. You don't have to be disappointed.
Based on that, like that trend, you would watch more movies in 3 months than I did in an entire year. So I ended the year with about 150.
We know that's true.
Yes, I was targeting 200. I think
I do
Kara, you
have
ended
that
up-
statistic though.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. I logged 122 movies last year.
Okay.
My goal was 125. I don't like missing those, but you got to imagine I missed at least 3
Of course.
that I logged.
And I'm sure you watched television, and television counts as hours of media.
Sure. So I was like 140
Okay, that works.
Not bad.
around there.
Yeah,
So
you're
is
making
that
it-
things total, or is that things that were eligible for 2018?
Oh no,
What?
no, just no way, no way, just 2018.
That includes
I'm-
Harry Potter.
I believe
and
I'm at
things like that.
211 eligible for 2018.
That's crazy.
Plus, I think I gave you the number, Carrie, a while back about how many things I'd seen in 2018 total, and it was over 400. Right?
It was in the
To
fours,
be
like
fair, I
460s
think
maybe.
If since we see pretty much the same movies in 2018, I think I ended up about 80 movies. So about half of my movies were
Okay.
for the year. I mean, 80 in a year for the current year release, I feel is like that's pretty solid. God damn it, Tim.
See, the problem with video now is we can people can see your face
The
when they're
problem-
judging us.
I'm now gonna start
Your
doing
judgment is
right?
passed.
I'm
right
going to start
here.
like Jim from The Officing at the camera, my close-up camera.
That's right. I think in this case, does that make me Pam? Oh wait, no.
No.
Sorry, no, sorry.
It makes you. I think it
Sorry.
makes you. Does it make you like Mindy Kaling? Maybe.
Oh yeah,
don't
I'll
know.
take
I
that.
could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably that desk lady,
Well, since we've seen a lot of movies, even
the
really
front desk.
since 2018, we've seen a lot of movies. Karen and our committee see a lot of movies in 2019 in theaters. Every week, we're trying to get out to the theaters. We've been doing pretty well so far in January. So we thought we'd jump into our worth mentioning segment of the movies since we've seen since the last episode. There are many, but let's just focus on January. Going forward, we're just going to be focusing on the prior month and then looking forward to the future month to see which
right.
movies we're most excited to see. So, Kara, for January, is there a movie that you want to bring to the table?
Yeah, I think so. Why don't you go first?
Why don't I go first?
Yeah.
All right. Well, actually, I'm going to be doing a Patreon request. We have a backlog of some Patreon requests.
All right.
People asking us to watch movies. This one came from Joy Vigil, and the movie she asked us to see was Westward the Women.
That's a fascinating. Like it's an obscure movie
Yes.
that I don't know why. I mean,
So
maybe Joy
I
loves it. I
think
don't know.
she
It seems
grew up-
odd to have handed it to you.
She
too.
personally handed it to us in Colorado when we were out there. She lives in the Colorado area, and personally handed. I think it was one of those things like how Guns of Navarone is special to my dad.
Mhm.
Maybe it's a movie that
Okay.
her family grew up on, and then as a result, they were watching it. And it's such an interesting movie because it's about a trail guide that escorts a group of women from Chicago to California to marry men.
Yeah.
Like that's the purpose. Like the scout goes out, like apparently there are men working in California, single bachelor guys, and they need women. So the guy goes, all right, well, I'll go
And they're
rustle
all
up
like
some women.
really gross.
Yeah,
Like
they're
let's just
they're
lay
not-
that out there. They're really
not
gross.
fines.
Yeah.
Yes. And he goes out there and like all the women are just like they're all single bachelorettes and he rustles
There's
them
a
up.
range. So of course, there's a range. You have like the really hardy ones that are gonna like could take down a calf with their bare hands, and then there's these, of course, very like beautiful.
Calves are docile creatures.
Cow could take down a bull, maybe something
Okay.
less docile, but yeah, there's a range of women out
And
there.
initially the scout's kind of like, damn women, like, you know, going to get in my way, like going to risk my men. Like it's not worth it. Like he feels like he's signed up for a job that he's not really interested in doing. But throughout the movie, it's really like a women empowerment movie a little bit, but then not at the same time because it's 1951.
Yeah,
and they shit all over the women.
There
in
is
this.
genuinely no such thing as a pro-woman film made in the United States in the 1950s.
But as
I
close
believe.
as one could be, like
That's what I said. I think I called it the most progressive, unprogressive movie of
Right.
the 50s.
yeah,
because
you
it's
had,
like
your
Sounds
letterboxd
right.
review is very good.
it's
I thought you
it's
nailed
like, yeah, you have like men are like slapping women and hitting women, but then it's also like, but women are also slapping each other and hitting each other, and so it's like, oh, yay,
just-
you're
it's-
powerful.
yeah.
and a little bit of a spoiler,
it's
but not,
self-abuse.
It
as much
is,
as it is.
right.
at one point, it's really just the scout left, the guy with all of the women, and like apparently this is like a trip that no man, like few men actually can even make, and he makes it, you know, through with the women,
With some of them.
with some of them. But yeah, really tough movie. Like 1951, like there was some hardcore stuff
Sex.
happening, hardcore sex
Hardcore
and
sex.
wagons, yes, and horses.
Yep.
There's
No,
some
I-
death, some unexpected death in there. People were dropping like flies, people that you wouldn't expect to, people who are of an age I wouldn't expect to have passed away, which is always was weird too.
And what I found interesting, a little research on this, Frank Capra. Well, Frank Capra written.
Oh, written. Okay.
Yeah, written, directed by William Wellman, who
Okay, William
directed.
that would be what, because I saw it many, many years ago, and that would be why I'm a William Wellman.
Yeah, Stars. Your
apologist.
favorite Stars Born,
My favorite
right?
Star is Born.
So, and 82 other directing credits. But yeah,
Yeah,
Frank
Wellman was a
the
good
Frank
guy.
Capra. You know,
I did not realize it was a Capra script.
yeah. So I thought that was all pretty interesting. So that's what I was going to bring to the table. Thank you, Joy, for the selection. I think Karen and I both enjoyed it more than what we thought. Oh no.
Oh,
No.
you did?
I was like, this is really, yeah. I thought it's just it's a
So-
fascinating piece of like film history.
I didn't love it, but here's the thing. I give it one tweak and it probably would have jumped like 2 stars for me. The main guy that's corralling all these women and whatever is such a D. If he had been
Robert Taylor.
Yeah. If he had been sweet and charismatic and was like
I feel you.
it was more playing the side of the women and was supportive of the women rather than he was just angry at everybody, I would have rallied around it. But he was not a lovable
No,
protagonist or whatever you want to call him. Is that the right word?
That would be, yeah.
So yeah.
Anti-hero
He's an
movie.
Anti-hero.
He's definitely an anti-hero.
So if he was more lovable and there was some sort of love story going on in there, I think I could have gotten around it. But
Right.
it was okay.
And that was the movie I was going to bring, but I don't know.
I don't
what
know. Can I talk about? I was going to talk about Glass.
I
Is
hope
that-
you do.
Talk about
Oh,
Glass.
okay.
We've all seen
Okay.
it.
I
It's a
wasn't
movie
sure
from
if I
January.
was
Most
stealing
people
from
have
anybody.
not. It's like the second week, right?
You are stealing not nearly as much from me as M. Night Shyamalan did of my time.
Good. That was a good one.
Yeah.
See? So all of us then have caught Glass. I saw your review of it. Tim's up on the website. Rob and I recently did a video review of it. But yeah, this is M. Night Shyamalan's newest release. I went in super high on this movie because I like Split more than any of us. I really actually
I
like
believe
Split
actually
quite a bit.
we all three gave it the exact same star rating.
Was it 3.5?
3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you
Alex
were more
put a lot.
down on it. Your
No.
review was a little negative, but
I don't remember
that's
that.
all your reviews. So, yeah, I went into this and I think I thought it was going to be. So let me tell you a little about it. It's this convergence of we find out that Unbreakable at the end of that, if you've seen that, and Split, that all of these are sort of like a trilogy story,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
if you could call it that. And there's some overlap in the characters in here. So they come in and there's this doctor Staple
Ellie Staple.
who just bugged the crap out of me in this movie.
Oh, really?
Bugged the crap out of me.
I was okay with her.
I knew Tim
Sarah
would
Paulson
like her.
will never bug.
I
Yeah, I
knew
love
you
her.
love Sarah
Oh,
Paulson.
Sarah Paulson.
She was just so. I don't know. I just wasn't
I
in.
think
I
she's
wasn't digging
supposed
her.
to be that. Okay.
I wasn't digging her.
Alright.
But either way,
She was sterile.
She was very sterile.
But I think that's what she was going for.
The third act, I think, suggests why that is a choice and not an accident.
Yeah. I don't know. Her lipstick was a little overdone. I don't know. I had a lot of things that I had problems with. So anyway, so she comes in and she's gonna kind of like help them, right? She thinks that
in her mind,
she thinks that they're not
they're
superheroes.
suffering from superhero
delusions of
disorder.
grandeur. So she thinks, oh, you're not actually a superhero. You just have these superpowers because of trauma that you've had.
She doesn't believe they have any powers.
She's saying you can do these things because of some
Well, she thinks they can't do anything.
No, she thinks they can't do anything.
Oh.
Yeah. She was explaining away like, oh, you can bend bars, but that's because the bars were actually
that's
200 years
saying.
old. Like there is no, you don't have any superpowers.
That they were old. Yeah. But that what they're doing isn't based on an inherent superpower. All right. So she comes in and then it's the overlapping story of all of these three characters. And obviously you have bad guys and good guys included in this mix and how they come together and like what they do. They're in an institution. I just thought it was super boring.
It's super boring. I think it's a pretty solid split sequel, but it becomes tonally too much like an Unbreakable sequel. So it's very slow, very methodical, very, 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 very invested in comic book philosophy and like explaining how comic books work. And it's just, it drags.
I just wanted to see James McAvoy and Bruce Willis fight for like 30 minutes. Like that's all I wanted to happen. And you get a little bit of it.
A little bit.
But
and Bruce Willis not
was he like
not
asleep?
Present.
Like I think he was sleeping on the job.
He kind of was like that in Unbreakable, but not to this
in
level.
a more productive way.
In a more productive way, yes.
Yeah, he seemed a little medicated or something. And then he James McAvoy was the only performance in that actually stood out.
Fantastic.
Because basically Samuel L. Jackson's basically
He's
comatose.
basically not in it for the first half of the movie.
And he doesn't speak at all, so he's just sort of twitching in a chair for the whole movie, which maybe that makes him the second most interesting character. I don't know. But it just didn't do it for me, which was disappointing.
Parts of it I liked. Parts of it were just dull as hell. And the twist and everything that happens after the twist just annoyed me.
I think you said this in your review, and I completely agree. I'm waiting for M. Night Shyamalan to, use someone else's script.
Hopefully.
And I hope it happens. I don't know if he has too much pride or what's going on there. But his visual styling is just
it's a gorgeous movie.
Beautiful
it looks
to look at.
So good.
Yeah.
Color scheme is amazing. The framing, like the use of focus, the way that especially Bruce Willis's character is sort of like separated out from the spaces he's in, works just really tremendously well. He's a good visual director.
Yeah. Well, that's what we had, Tim. What are you bringing to the table since you saw Mr. 50 here?
Well, I'm gonna try and keep it to 2019 films as well. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna compare and contrast two movies that I saw, which I did not review on the site because I don't think either one of them was really worth it. But if you were paying attention a couple weeks ago, you might have heard that Netflix had a very high-profile documentary about the failed Fyre Festival of 2017.
Oh, you're going to talk about this?
Fyre.
We caught this too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
And so that came out on the Friday of I forget which week it was. The preceding Monday, suddenly and without warning, Hulu dropped its own Fyre Festival documentary. So we had a week of dueling Fyre Festival documentaries. The Hulu one is called Fyre Fraud. The Netflix one is simply called Fyre or Fyre, the Story of the Greatest Party Never Held or something like that. So those of you who don't remember or never heard, Fyre Festival was a 2017 event where basically there was this large con played against the influencer industry, insofar as influencer is really an industry. All of these hot internet people, like trendy, beautiful, like fashionistas and such, tweeting about this music festival that was going to be held on a Caribbean island. Turned out the whole thing was this barely held together boondoggle that was basically created through the sheer willpower of social media. They all got there. They discovered there were like these crummy waterlogged tents. The food, there was this very famous image that was basically like a real shitty like microwaved grilled cheese sandwich. It wasn't even like melted cheese. And so it's basically the story of how this gentleman whose name evades me tricked the world into thinking he had this really cool music festival when really all he had was a great ability to lie to people.
Do you think that's the case, though? I don't think that. I think he overcommitted himself.
Carrie admires him. So just so you know. Carrie's a solutions. Are you a problem person, Tim? Because Carrie's a solutions person. That's what she brings. She doesn't believe in problems.
Problem or solution. I would not get into the situation. But I feel like he went for it. I think things just started to fall apart and he didn't pull the plug.
So did Bernie Madoff.
I think that he is a high-functioning sociopath. The gentleman
I would agree, but it wasn't like what happened at my 10-year high school reunion where somebody like set up the whole thing, took money for tickets, and then when we actually show up at the bar, there was no party.
It's exactly like that. It's identical to that.
But that would be that if there was maybe, you know.
If he felt guilty about it, then I would agree with you.
I agree.
But I don't, the sociopathic part is that he just has no guilt and he doesn't care.
Oh, no, I completely agree with that part. I just mean it was, he made an attempt with the tents and all that stuff.
Did he try? He didn't want to like hear any problems.
He spent millions of dollars. It wasn't like he took millions.
Not his money.
That's true. That's true.
So anyway, to speak to the movies, I just want to. So these both came out. Neither one of them is frankly very good. I would not say. I think they are both fairly compromised. The Netflix one was produced by people who had a financial stake in Fyre Festival, and I think a large portion of what we're seeing is trying to like indemnify them against any charges of wrongdoing. I think the Hulu film is better. The Hulu film is much more openly willing to say influencers are full of bullshit. Let's laugh at them. The Netflix film is very dour in a lot of ways. It's like, look at all these poor people, like these Instagram models who were like terribly taken in by this con. I don't give two shits about the Instagram models. And the Hulu film, I think, speaks to this is a fundamentally broken and corrupt like way of being in the world. The Hulu film, though, is I think way too like bouncy and funny and does not really. It thinks it's engaging with cultural issues. It's really not doing so in any sort of systematic way. So neither one of the films is very good. They complement each other, and the Hulu film is certainly more fun to watch.
I'm gonna maybe catch that.
Well, and they're if you liked the Netflix one, for sure, catch out the Hulu.
And it's not so much. I actually thought the quality of the documentary is fine. I know it's not like a Oscar-worthy documentary. It was just more of the balls on this guy and I'd never heard of the Fyre.
Oh, I was following the story as it was happening.
Yeah, I had no idea.
You were thinking of going. No.
Tim got one of the luxury villas.
I was one of the people who first heard about it as it was collapsing, and my immediate thought was, good, these people deserve everything that comes.
I think if we could have gotten a crowdsourcing together to actually say, let's send Tim to Fyre, now knowing what it was, it would have funded.
That's what I'm thinking. Is like we're down in the. I aspire to be an influencer. That's the whole reason we've got this set up right here. Is that not what we're trying to do? All right, go back to mission statement later. We'll figure that out. Well, that's good.
I did like the best thing in either one of those films was when Hulu was basically talking about how to like game social media. And parts of me were like, ooh, that's a good strategy. We should try that out for us.
Which we probably won't.
So those were some of the movies we were interested in January. What about looking forward to February? Let me give you a quick rundown of the movies that are actually on wide release here. I've got Miss Bala, got Lego Movie 2, Lego 2, the movie, or whatever it is. How to Train Your Dragon 3, Alita, Happy Death Day to You, Isn't It Romantic? That's that comedy. She's trapped in a comedy.
Oh, no, that
romantic comedy. Of those, Care.
That kind of looks good.
I actually think it looks pretty fun.
Is The Prodigy coming out in February?
I think The Prodigy's coming out in March.
Oh, that was my pick.
That was going to be your pick? Oh. Okay, so you have to swap.
Sorry,
one.
if I've got to swap of the ones you've said, probably How to Train Your Dragon.
Absolutely, no question about it.
Oh, so we're all three on the same page.
Oh, that's yours too?
I was kind of thinking someone might say Lego Movie 2.
I'm sure I'm going to enjoy Lego Movie 2, but I'm sure I'm going to enjoy Dragon more.
And I'm kind of surprised, Alita, you're not. Is it Alita in the running or Happy Death Day to You? You were big on Happy Death Day.
I don't like sequels.
Okay.
And I just picked a third sequel. But I think Happy Death Day to You Happy Death Day to You looks like it's just going to be tediously rerunning the first film, which is a disappointment because I did like the first film. I think Alita is going to be fun. It falls very much in the sort of sci-fi, like glorious mess tradition that I enjoy. Things like Jupiter Ascending and Valerian. But no, Dragon 3, like it's getting great reviews. It's already out in Europe. I love the first two. They're among my favorite animated films of the decade. So yeah, no, easy pick for me.
Well, Carrie and I are going to have a video movie review of that, and then you're going to have your Tim's movie preview, February preview coming out.
Yeah, I'm going to be previewing. I think the preview is going to go live on the 30th or 31st.
Well, make sure to catch those. Remember, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. Get early access and exclusive content, make us watch a movie, pick your own episode topic, and more from our Patreon site. New to Patreon this month, grabbing our Critics' Choice Award. That is Kevin Riggle. Thank you, Kevin,
Kevin.
for doing that. Also, Cameron Shaw upped her patronage to a Sundance Grand Jury Prize. We only have three of those left.
And the Grand Jury Prize nets you a what?
That's a Carrie and Rob pick, which I think has she come back? Yeah, she did come back with some, but we'll save it for the
episode.
Also, several Patreons have celebrated their anniversary this past month. Not Fenimore, who's one of our who's claimed one of our Oscar awards. Diego Santamaria, who did a Critics' Choice. My parents, who had a Sundance.
I think that was our first Patreon.
They were our first. Joy Vigil, who I just mentioned, she did the Sundance. And then Max Jacobson, who's got our Razzie Award at $3, entitling him to this very here shout out.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Now, Tim Sackcare.
Oh, yeah. What's in Tim's sack? And so for those of you, I realize, who might be joining us for the first time, when Rob says what's in Tim's sack, you might think it's weird. And it is weird, but...
No, I mean what's in his ball sack. Yes.
That's where I was going to go.
Good,
yeah. What is actually... I'm not good with anatomy.
I mean, we have video now, so
I'm not good with anatomy.
Well, sack is something that holds, so his nuts, I would assume, are in his sack.
I don't actually know what a nut, though, is. But anyway, we'll get to that later. So did I say what it was? No,
it's a question and answer where you can ask all three of us, but mostly me, about cinema.
No, but it's not. It's not just cinema. I'd like to point out that it could be personally intrusive questions, things that you wanted to know. If you caught the episode where I gave Tim socks that were going to yield him many romantic benefits. Are you wearing them?
Nope.
He just skirted his feet out of view of camera.
You could ask how his socks were going. Like, all of those things are actually more interesting to me than cinema, but you can also ask about cinema. So every week we'll cover 1 to 2 questions. For those of you who it'll kind of be in a first come, first serve order, unless it's like really funny or something that I decide personally to put it anyway. But anyway, that said, this week we have a couple questions. So, dear Tim Sack, Tim's spot on observation that the film Mandy was like a prog rock album cover come to life got me thinking, what are Tim's favorite prog rock albums, and what is a prog rock album? You can explain that too. And what are Tim's favorite prog rock album covers? This is from Halvather.
All right. Well, that's...
What's prog rock?
That would be where the question sort of becomes tricky. What is prog rock? So it's a genre of music, mostly from the 70s, that it's prog is short for progressive. And the idea is that we want rock to be more than just guitars and drums. We want it to really start to incorporate like musicology. So the simplest way to put it, I would say, is it is where classical music and rock and roll sort of smash into each other. I mean, that's a grotesque oversimplification. Which bands qualify as prog rock is sort of where things get a little... I mean, I would not consider myself an expert on this, so I don't want to just say like, oh, I know X, Y, and Z are all prog bands. So my first answer to the question, what is my favorite prog? So is favorite albums and favorite covers?
Is that what I said?
I don't know what
to close the question.
Well, we'll go with that. I'll go with my favorite albums and my favorite covers. So I think there's an open question. Does Pink Floyd count as progressive rock? And they probably do, but they're sort of like an edge case kind of in some ways. That being said, I'm going to go with the most ludicrously boring answer. Dark Side of the Moon is a phenomenal album.
Nirvana.
Yes. What?
What's Dark Side of the Moon? Oh, it's
the Pink Floyd album.
Oh,
it's the one with the triangle that's
what
a
about
prism.
The one with the little
Rainbow
baby and the little...
That's grunge.
Oh.
That's Nevermind.
No. Okay.
By Nirvana.
Never mind.
That's not prog. So my favorite album, if we're going to count it, another particular beloved album of mine, again, maybe early to be prog, but I think it has to count at least as proto-prog, Days of Future Past from 1967 by the Moody Blues. In terms of album covers, again, if we count the Moody Blues, and I think they're also sort of an edge case, I really, really love the album cover to On the Threshold of a Dream. I have certain like childhood associations with it. My father had an oil painting made out of that cover. So I think it's really cool. It's full of like these weird, dreamy fantasy elements. That's a Moody Blues album from I don't remember the year, 70 possibly. Also, if we're going to talk about the best progressive rock albums, we necessarily have to talk about Yes, who I think most of us would agree probably have the best album covers in the whole genre.
Oh, we would totally agree to that.
You can, you know what? I'm trying to think of the name of the specific album that I have in mind, and I'm drawing a blank. They're all very weird and long and cumbersome, and it has the word topographical in it.
Is it kind of like this question?
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
And
Indeed.
cumbersome.
But no, it's. I will on the break. I will look up the exact.
All right, we'll get back
title.
to it.
But yeah, it's the something of the topographical something.
All right, thanks for that question. That's interesting. So I'm going to run to our next one. So, hey, all, another question for Tim's animation scholar, Brayton's brain. In a cartoon, what's the difference between what a storyteller does and what the director does? I'm asking because I've been watching a lot of Looney Tunes recently and keep noticing the credit story by Michael Maltese on lots of best shorts, but I've never heard of him as compared to directors such as Chuck Jones and Tex Avery, whose names I've known since childhood.
Sure.
Blame or thank my dad for that. Who is it I should thank for making me laugh so hard? Best, Alex Frith from London.
That's a phenomenal question. Thank you, Alex. So the story artist is the one who basically comes up with the structure of the narrative and the gags that happen within it. So to take something like Rabbit Fire or, Duck Rabbit, Seasoning, that trilogy, Michael Maltese, who is a genius who deserves so much more credit than he gets, he is the one who comes up with the idea that Daffy and Bugs are trying to trick Elmer into shooting the other one, that Daffy keeps getting the worst of it, like all of that stuff, like the story being told. He's the one who comes up with that. He probably is the one who comes up with specific gags, such as, at a certain point, Bugs is going to dress as a woman and so on and so forth. As for the individual gags, that's going to be a collaborative effort between Maltese, Jones, the animators themselves, possibly in some cases even the voice artist, Mel Blanc, usually. As for what the director does, the director is responsible for timing. So the director is going to say, okay, Daffy gets shot in the face and his bill spins around his head, and we need that to take 6 frames. And then in the 7th frame, the dust cloud settles and we see that his bill is hanging off, whatever. So the director is responsible for basically how long does each movement take. And that's kind of where the gags live or die, because if you let a gag go too fast, it sort of dwindles and goes into nothingness. If you have it go by too quickly, or if it goes too slow, it dwindles away. If it goes too fast, it doesn't register. So that's really what Chuck Jones is responsible for, is really pacing out the film. But he's also going to be coming out with a lot of the specific gags because he was also an animator. So he's kind of leading the drawing.
So is the answer both? Maltese and...
Oh, yeah. The answer is that these are collaborative. These
Okay.
are not,
Okay.
These are not auteur pieces.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you for all of your questions. If you also would like to submit a question to Tim Sack, you can write us at contact@alternateending.com.
You can ask me a question.
Rob has
Anybody-
lots of answers to things.
Anybody wants to ask me something about things I enjoy?
Like, how do you just get your skin to look so nice?
Yeah, that's Carrie doing makeup for me.
Yeah,
a lot of
right,
foundation.
right.
Lots
Your hair.
of foundation. Yes. A
Foundation.
lot of stuff under the eyes.
That's right.
It
That's
could
right.
be my eye sack.
It could be.
Yeah.
That's
There you
see,
go.
there's something for everybody.
I want to also thank our listeners and now viewers who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com. Click on our Amazon banner and seamlessly go about your purchases. We've had a lot of purchases.
We haven't had a really risque one in a
No,
long
not
time.
risque, but we have a big list. So
Okay.
I apologize
I won't
in advance
interrupt.
for
Our
having to
list.
go fast through it for those who, want their product time to shine.
Right.
And really just kind of
We won't
bask in
interrupt
it.
either.
No, interrupt. But
okay.
I'm going to go through them fast. So
Okay.
I can't think of
All right.
anything funny to add right away.
Can't. Okay.
No, it's going to be tough.
Okay.
First, some beauty products. Giovanni Cosmetics, Eco Chic Natural Hair Styling Mousse, Air Turbocharged. Is my hair right for mousse? Like, I've always
No.
wondered what does mousse do? Just adds volume?
Volume. You have volume. You just need more.
I just need more volume.
Yeah.
Also
more
had
hair.
More hair.
some a genuine Philips Sonic Care Optimal Plaque Control Replacement. So it says genuine. Does that mean it actually is that, or it's genuinely meant to be like?
You have a fascinating and idiosyncratic definition of the word fast.
Yes, I'm saying them fast.
Sure.
But we're going to spend some time with them.
Tim
Okay.
and I are concise. Get it going.
We also had a book, Kierkegaard, Little Fear and Trembling.
All right.
Don't know anything about Kierkegaard's like a
philosopher.
thing. Yep. I'm not there yet in my almanac of writers. Remember
Sure.
the incomplete
yeah, that's
education
right,
I'm
your
going
cheat
through?
sheet.
I'm
You're gonna
not
get
there. Another book, Tess of the Road. Books, Our Ultimate Refuge, Job, and the Problem of Suffering.
Job.
That would make more sense. But Job would also work
Sure.
there. So
Maybe it is Job. Maybe it's just grammatically unclear.
some clothing and accessories, natural soft knit Terry Lounger. Computers, 4 terabyte. We could use that for all of our new videos. Drive. Digital music, Vivaldi, little Vivaldi.
Ooh, I
D
like
minor.
little Vivaldi.
Which Vivaldi?
D minor, the trio sonata.
All right.
Yeah,
How does that one go, Tim?
I don't know that one.
Oh,
At
really?
least I
Prefer
don't know
the-
that I know that one.
Prefer the D minor to the E major.
Yeah, I can see
personally.
that.
I mean, electronics, Brilliant Soul wireless Bluetooth speaker. I also had a gift card, a little happy birthday pop-up box. Could that
Happy
have been
birthday.
for you? May have been for you.
Could have been for
I
you.
didn't get one for my birthday, so probably not.
No,
Just
no,
the
no
socks.
birthday gifts. Some Nishiki premium rice, little sushi grade rice.
All right.
Also had a secret aardvark combo. I don't know why people are eating aardvarks.
It's not an actual aardvark, Rob.
Okay.
What if it is?
Yeah.
What if there's like canned aardvark available on
See,
Amazon?
it's in 3-pack, 8 ounces each, and that's about how much I would expect an aardvark.
A can
to
of
weigh,
aardvark
like if you were
to
to
be-
grind it
Aardvarks
down.
are large animals.
But if you
Did
grind
say
down their
grind,
meat-
you don't grind an aardvark.
You could eat them whole.
I don't know what you do.
One bite at a time. That's how you eat an aardvark.
Hey, I mean, like they're
I thought you said if we had good jokes, you were going to do it.
they're like the size of possums, so they
That's
have to
true.
have at least
They're
as much meat as a possum does, and that's going to be more than 8 ounces.
That's true.
Handbags and shoes, a Bruno Mark men's Goldman leather lined square toe dress loafer.
Ooh,
Also had some other a shoe cleaner, sneaker cleaner,
maybe that goes with those shoes.
Probably.
but it's sneaker cleaner. So I don't know if a
Maybe-
loafer and
maybe
yeah,
it
we'll
does
see.
that.
Maybe you should return that.
A little
purchase.
hair and you personal hair products. It's the hair, skin, and vitamins nail vitamins. Little Home Puffs Plus lotion travel size pocket facial tissues.
You
We
like
don't-
those?
I do. We don't carry enough of them. Our kids are
I'm
just
opposed
using
to
their
tissue.
sleeves and,
I'm opposed
and all
to
that
tissue.
stuff to wipe their
why
faces.
not use toilet paper?
Okay, because that's for butts.
I know.
Kitchen
Just
and
feels
housewares,
I feel like that needs to be your new catchphrase.
because that's for
That's for butts.
oval bowl set with metal rack. I'm not really sure what that is. Appetizers. Got it.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's going to be a little like snacky
New
thing.
Year's gift.
Replacement pitcher water filter. Some music. The Beatles. A couple Beatles things.
All right.
The White Album and Sgt. Pepper's
I
Lonely
own
Hearts
that.
Club.
I own that.
I've heard good things about those albums.
Yeah.
Had a Whole Foods Peace Love gift card.
All right.
Pet supplies. Wild grain, premium dog food, lamb.
Good to hear the dog's
Nice.
still kicking.
I feel confident for at least the next 5 years on the dog.
Little Fitbit charge leather Fitbit wrap for your
Okay.
arm there. Tools and hardware. Another faucet filter.
Jeepers.
There, yeah. And then Nintendo Switch Pro controller. Appreciate
Wow.
that.
Very nice.
And
Thank
then
you.
a long list of movies: Gung Ho, The Deadly Affair, Die, My Darling,
Good movie.
Sorry to Bother You,
Seen it.
See No Evil. I prefer Hear No Evil.
I feel like there
or
are multiple
See
films
No,
called See No Evil.
Yeah.
something Vampire. Tim Quadridoc.
Oh, Quadric Vampire.
Now everyone can watch.
I'm
you
shocked
try
that's
to learn
on
how to
Amazon.
read over
It's
here.
really interesting and really good. It's the making of the Jess Franco version of Dracula.
Okay,
Really interesting art film documentary. You should all see it.
interesting.
Quadakook Vampire.
Quadakook. So I don't have a lot.
Quadasook, maybe.
A lot that I haven't seen in 2018 that I regret not seeing, but Blind Spotting makes the list here. Apparently, it's on Amazon Instant Video, so we'll be catching Blind Spotting there. I need to catch up with that one.
Before the next episode, right?
Well, I don't think it actually got any Oscar
No.
love at all.
Oh, it
not even
didn't?
for not even for writing, right?
It wasn't expected.
Did sorry to bother you get any
No.
love? What?
None.
That's weird.
Amazon Instant Video also had Love Rosie, Polar Express, Home Alone, could have been us, Paper House, and Cross of Iron, as well as Mists of Avalon on DVD.
All right.
When we
Wow.
get back, our top 5 movies of 2018.
Tune in to alternate ending now.
And welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about our top 5 movies of 2018. So, Karen, I'm going to turn to you here.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
people could see the fear in your eyes every
do.
time you
Yes,
forget.
indeed.
It's like, oh my God, I have to say something now.
So you're going to ask me what is a movie from 2018?
Yeah.
So I've
Well,
got
what
the
is a movie from
criteria.
2018?
I've got the criteria. I mean, just any movie I saw in 2018. My favorite 5. Right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
It doesn't get easier
Let's
than that.
stick
Yeah.
with that.
I
Right
saw
now.
all the
Any-
Indiana Joneses again.
Any themes
Great.
emerge. Any themes emerge. And
Oh.
yeah.
Okay. Keep going with that.
Any
were you
themes
gonna say?
emerged from 2018? Like that major list. Like, what are you noticing on your movies list? Is there?
It's a smattering.
It's a smattering.
Yeah.
Smattering. Good year, bad year for you?
I think a better year for Tim, a medium year for you, and probably the least good for me.
Not a
probably.
good year in movies for you.
No, I was fine. I had no problem enjoying a lot of movies this year. My top 5 list are all movies I really enjoyed. I probably could have come up with 10 movies that I really enjoyed, but it felt like it was a big year for weird movies.
So when you look at your top 5 and you compare it, we've done this now for 4 seasons.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
When you look back, like these movies will stand the test of time for you. Like it would make it in the top 5 of your four seasons.
Yeah.
Like you see a lot of these making the cut.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Tim?
So I've been a film critic since 2015. And since
I was going to say, it seems kind of
since
short.
2005. And in those 13 years, I truly believe that 2018 was the best.
Wow.
Since I have started watching everything that comes out. As Carrie says, it was a good year for weird movies. We all know that I like weird movies. I was ecstatic. I loved so many movies. I gave out 6 5-star reviews compared to 1 for 2017. I think this is going to be a year that very much has produced a lot of things that I think are going to stand the test of time. Do I see any particular themes? Probably not really. I don't feel like there was anything that I could latch on to. Among the films I liked, among the films that I was maybe less keen on, I think some themes emerge more so perhaps. But I think there were a lot of films trying to grapple in a very shitty way with like quote unquote Trump's America. I think we have things like, say, Green Book that kind of do that in a fumbling way. But as far as like what I loved, I think it was just a good year for well-made films.
Yeah, and for me, nothing like I look at my 5 and I think back to other lists of top 5 movies of the year that I've made, and it is a weaker. Nothing stood. I think you mentioned on the ride over is I didn't have any 5-star movies.
You sure did not.
And that's not unusual. I try to grade on the bell curve with proper deviations between. I really try to stick to that as much as possible.
Well, if you are grading on a bell curve, then you should have had some 5 stars.
I should have had at least 1. And this year for me, there was no movie that really jumped to the top. And
is there anything at the year end though that you're going back and you're reassessing? Like sometimes for me, I go back and I look and I think based on the whole year and then maybe based on last year, like is there anything you go back and you say, well, that really stuck with me. It was really good. Maybe I want to change it. Nothing?
No. Like in this year, I even look at my list here. I only have 1 that's nominated for Best Picture, and the Best Picture nominees for me are like nothing that gets me excited about.
The Best Picture nominees are shit. The Oscars really dropped the ball this year.
Yeah.
It's weird because as I've said, it's my favorite year, maybe ever, not ever, but this decade for sure, this century. The Oscar nominations include 3 of the worst films ever nominated for Best Picture, in my estimation.
Oh, I and there's so many things left out. And why do they sometimes go to 10 but not, or sometimes
it's a
8?
whole weird math thing. I barely understand it.
It's just frustrating to see. I'll just say Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't know if that's like
Bohemian Rhapsody is one of my bottom my 3.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, I liked it, but I wouldn't put it on an Oscar movie.
Yeah, especially with all the Brian Singer stuff
even what you're saying. So when you're talking about the Trump commentary that people are putting out this year, so you're saying Green Book was the pull to be like, yes, this is our racial commentary, but you had Black Klansman,
right?
You had Sorry to Bother You, and you had Blindspotting,
which I haven't seen, but
you're saying none of those 3. And you pulled Green Book, which is more of like probably a popcorn movie versus like.
Well, I was trying to isolate films that I thought were shitty.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I think it's strange that none of those other 3 got a claim for that.
Black Klansman did.
Oh, it did.
What
did that get?
Nominee.
Oh, it is a Best Picture.
It's nominated for several things.
Okay.
And I'm happy that Black Panther is. I'm happy. You're happy that they didn't make a most popular category.
They kind of did. Look at the film. So
right.
many Best Picture nominees made a lot of money and are bad.
Yes. So anyway, but should we get to you want to get to your top 5, Karen?
Yeah, we can.
Right.
Do you feel like you kind of have a sense for what our lists are going to be? Do you know?
I have a good feeling for Tim because I know what Tim likes. I know, and then I think
I also
Tim
published my top 5.
You did.
I didn't. I purposely did not read
and I just
yours
frankly
I don't like
remember.
to be spoiled.
I did read through yours, but I can't remember all but 1 because I don't care about you and your writing. Kara, I have no idea.
I feel like it's so transparent.
Before we get started, I just want to quickly give the recap of our winter preview?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I think that'll sort of tie to this. So we all predicted what we were going to like best. I will say this. Everyone, as we always have, everyone liked their own movies best.
I forget. Okay.
So you gave the highest rating to your movies, Carrie. Rob, you gave the highest rating to yours, and I gave the highest rating to mine. Carrie, you hated my movies, and I hated your movies.
Oh, good.
That's perfect.
And I adored the movies I liked. The films on my top 5 anticipated, I ended up giving an average of 4.4 to those movies. You gave an average of 3.4 to the movies on your own list, Carrie. And Rob, you only gave 3.2.
Yeah, I'd made some poor choices.
I by far did the best job of predicting what I was going to like.
All right.
And I also just liked it. I had a much higher average rating for all of the movies on the list than I reviewed it as well.
So we try to do that at least twice a year. Come box office, summer box office, we do that, and then we do it every year with the big critically acclaimed movies. Any movies that either of you regret not seeing prior to this episode? Because we were worried that The Favorite would be maybe that, and we did catch that. So
we'll see if it was The Favorite.
If it makes it. And anything else that you regret? And I already mentioned Blind Spotting for me. I don't know for you, Care.
If I regret anything, would I like if Beale Street Could Talk? Would that make this?
It wouldn't make your top 5.
No. That was one of the ones I regretted missing. And then I regretted missing a couple of the weird ones because would a movie like Mandy or a movie like...
You would have loved Mandy. Mandy would have been your favorite movie of the year.
Oh, see?
There's still time. I mean, there's not time.
So I'm going to try and see it before the Oscar episode. Did it get anything in the Oscars?
No. It was actually ineligible.
Because it was too weird?
It premiered day and date on VOD. So
okay.
That is an automatic disqualification.
But a couple of the ones like that I know that you were excited about seeing, and folks on the website were writing in about that they really liked. I was like, I want to push myself because The Favorite, when I saw, I was like, oh, this is not something I expected to like a bunch, and it was better than I expected. So I need that one.
Probably no regrets for you, Tim, since that was your sole purpose of the last couple of weeks was just to make sure.
I mean, obviously one never gets to all the films one wanted to see, but I don't think anything I missed would have cracked the top 10.
Okay.
Maybe the top 20, but not the top 10.
And I feel pretty good about my list. There's no disputing they're good movies, in my estimation. 92.6%.
I look forward to disputing that.
92.6% Rotten Tomatoes. You're part of the Rotten Tomatoes group that voted on these. So 92.6 average. That's pretty high. Let's see how yours stacks up.
Overlap here. Maybe.
There's going to be some overlap, I think, between two.
Alrighty, so I'll start you off with my number
one.
Between
you and me.
I think I will have stuff on your list, and I think I'll have stuff on, because that's the whole thing.
All right.
I think I'm a little bit of both.
It's just 100% overlap. I'm looking through. I mean, I can't see where.
With me? 100%
just all of us.
I suspect you might not have seen any of the films in my top 5. That's not true. You've for sure seen one.
So many movies this year. Okay. So I'll start off with my first one. Really, really hard for me. Tiebreaker on number 5, but I had to land here, and I went with Incredibles 2.
All right.
Okay.
Anyone?
Nope.
That's not on yours, Rob.
Nope.
That was one of your only 2 4.5 stars you gave.
Yes.
You need to reevaluate.
I did 4.5?
You get that one
4.5. Yep. I chose not to.
I see.
I chose not to because my list doesn't make any sense. So I chose it because I also gave it, I think, a 4.5 as well. At the time, when I saw it, and I still today would watch it again, I really enjoyed it. Thought it was fun. It was a tie for me. I actually really enjoyed Crazy Rich Asians as well, but had to pull Incredibles 2 up a notch. And it's really good. If you missed it and you liked the first one, I think this is a great continuation. I know the ending on this and the villain is a little bit weaker, but just the overall story with the family is spot on and fun for.
Yeah, I think it's a terrific film. I think it does a lot to use the animation medium and sort of the freedom of movement and the just ability to control space and color. Some amazing action set pieces in this movie. The motorcycle chase with Elastigirl sort of separating and stretching around on her motorcycle is just phenomenally good. The biggest problem for me with Incredibles 2 is that somehow, despite being beautiful and funny and a really cunning use of animation to get at what makes an action movie, somehow it only managed to be the second best animated superhero film of 2018. So,
spoiler.
Yeah. I can't say anything.
So there's that. So yeah, that's my number 5.
No, good pick. It was my most anticipated. And do you both still stand by? I think you made comments earlier when we watched it that you liked it better than the original Incredibles.
Absolutely.
Still stand by it?
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't go there yet. Still. All right, Tim. Number 5 to you.
So my number 5 is animated.
Okay.
It is not an animated superhero movie, unless you consider being a teenager to be a superpower. This is the anime film The Night is Short, Walk On Girl, directed by Masaki Yuasa, who is, for my money, the single most interesting person in animation right now. I reviewed it not that long ago on the site. It's this just ridiculous, all over the place story about these two unnamed protagonists. One is a senior in college, one is a junior in college, I believe. The boy is a senior, the girl is a junior. And they spend this very long night that is possibly months and months long, or is possibly just one evening. It's not very clear. Just sort of bumbling around the city, having adventures, enjoying being like youthful, free spirits. It's this movie all about like just being 20 and like having the world ahead of you and being able to go around and fuck up all night and get drunk and explore things and find things for the first time. And it's paired with this amazing animation style that's just like so fluid, completely unpredictable visually, completely unpredictable story. I just had such a giddy, wonderful time watching this film.
And it's one of those that I have not even heard of.
I read your review.
It is Japanese.
Okay.
You would hate it.
It's subtitled?
Somehow it is subtitled. Because somehow you've managed to like no anime films.
I feel like we're missing.
You got to push yourself. You got to push yourself, Rob.
It's like when people eat a dish that just turns my stomach, but everybody's like, this is the best tasting thing. And it's like, I don't understand. Like I can't, it just doesn't register with me for some reason.
Yeah.
But
well, I'll be buying this when it comes out on Blu-ray in a few weeks, and I will make sure that you get a chance to borrow it.
Okay.
Might already be out. It might have been this month. Anyway.
Number 5 to me, I predict may make Carrie's list.
All right, let's see.
I don't think he's a first-time director, but
give me a clue.
Sure. Actually, we were joking that Tim was playing this person in our setup from The Office. Starring and directed by John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Quiet Place.
That's my number 4.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah, really good.
It should be on Carrie's. I wasn't sure that
it's a Rob movie, post-apocalyptic. I love post-apocalyptic. I know you do too, Care. Family-centric.
It's so
super
good.
tense. I went into this movie with a hamburger and French fries because we were really hungry. We had skipped out on a meal, and I didn't realize at the time.
Oh, this was amazing. I forgot about this.
You puked him right back up because you were so nervous.
But I sit down in the movie starts playing, and it's like silent, and it's silent, like almost like every sound is magnified.
It's quiet, yeah.
So I never felt like it was the right time to eat.
No,
and you don't have to, like with my
not.
face, I could totally have gotten away with eating it. I didn't have food with me. I could, because I have so much insulation. With Rob's very like trim face, it was like every crunch, every French fry was like, like banging on a wall.
So to survive this movie and survive my hunger, what I did is wait for very dramatic things to happen.
Like
and then
the
just
music
quickly,
would get really loud and
really like shove stuff in my face.
I was going to say, did you just like put fries in your mouth and let them dissolve in your spit until you could swallow them without chewing?
I didn't actually watch the movie because it was more fun to watch Rob's side profile of trying to he thought that like by chewing slower it would be quieter. So he would like take a bite and then very methodically.
But that sound design, putting yourself in that movie, that was something really incredible to be a part of in a group setting.
I loved it.
Super tense. It does have some problems, a little bit of like too much telling the audience what's going on in a painful way. Like
That's your problem.
It bothered me a little bit. But overall,
the whiteboard they have written down like
what? That's like that's a nit.
What's weakness? Question mark.
Yes.
That's a nitpick. I think the only downside of that movie for me was I didn't like the way it ended. But it ended.
Also
fine.
starring Emily Blunt, who I thought stole the show, along with Millicent Simmons, and then son Noah Jupe, who's getting a lot of roles lately.
He's a big deal for child actors.
Yes. Similarly came out, similar movie that pushes the senses as well is Bird Box.
What did you guys think of Bird Box?
I liked it.
I thought Bird Box was such crap.
You're watching your expectations are different when you're watching something on Netflix than when you go to a theater. So I feel like
I still want the movie to be good.
Yeah, but the expectations, the bar feels lower, but unexpected good where I just expected it to be terrible, and that was a super tense movie.
New YouTube subscriber and listener of the show, Ben Berkowitz, also had Quiet Place on his top 5.
Nice.
So that was your number 4,
That was
right?
my number 4.
So it's my number 4.
Yeah.
Wow, just jumping around.
Mine might be on your list. My number 4.
It's not. I know what it is.
Not a high art film, is it? Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Right. It's not high art. It's just good old-fashioned movies are about spectacle and human bodies doing crazy ass shit. In this particular case, the human body belongs to Tom Cruise, who jumps out of a plane, who drives a fucking helicopter, who falls out of the fucking helicopter. Mission Impossible Fallout.
My number one.
All right.
Nicely done, Sarah.
I literally forgot this movie existed
This
last year.
movie-
Forget.
Was pure joy to me. It's just all about action that you cannot fathom happened, but it did, and they put a camera in front of it. It's I watched this movie in a very primitive register. It feels to me like the way people must have felt when they realized, like, holy shit, that train is moving in 1895. It's your number one, Rob. What do you have to say
It's my
about it?
number one. Everything you said. I'll throw on. I got to see things done that I've never seen before. My only problem, what kept this away from being a 5-star movie for me, and even really having a 5-star at all this year, is just the length. It could have been
Longer.
Could have been just more of that.
I agree. It should have been a 5-hour, nothing but Tom Cruise running into shit.
It didn't feel long to me at all because like, if you fall asleep after the
Yeah, you
first
wake up-
hour,
you
like
wake up
you
fast.
should, it goes fast.
No,
yeah.
Henry. So there's so many. I can't even pick a favorite scene. But the bathroom scene for me stands out.
Bathroom scene is
Henry
a great
Cavill.
fight scene.
What is he redoing?
When he reloads his arms.
is
So
just
great.
what I want. Is everything I want about an action movie.
For me, I'm watching the 6th film in a franchise starring one of the last remaining bankable movie stars. I know Tom Cruise's character is going to live. I knew that the minute I walked into the theater. There's a scene where he falls out of the helicopter and grabs onto netting. And with every ounce of my being, I was convinced he was going to fall to his death. And like, that's good cinema when it can override my cynicism like that.
Yeah, McQuarrie's doing something special. Excited that he sounds like he'll be back. Maybe for that or whatever.
No, he's going to be back for
Yeah.
for 7, and 8.
7 and 8. Okay.
I don't know how I feel about doing back-to-back Mission Impossibles. I think I liked it when they had new directors coming in. On the other hand, if it's as good as 5, it's going to be a lot.
Listeners
Or
and
6.
viewers, David H., Space Ice, and Julian also had it on their list. So we're not alone, Care.
I
We're not
mean,
alone.
there's the 5 of you. so that was your.
That was my
so
4,
it's
so it's
already-
Rob's 4.
Oh, it's
We
Rob's
took my
number
one.
4?
We can go to Care's 3.
Okay.
But then we're
Are we going to be off?
I think we should
We'll be
just
off.
Okay,
You
my
go to your
4.
4.
My 4. I'm going to take Carrie's right here. Again, I'm going to take another one of Carrie's.
no.
Carrie's not going to have a chance to speak.
It's for the best.
Oh, Tim, do you know
Oh,
what the
you're taking my number 3
do
right
you know,
now.
Do you know what the feeling it is like for a musician to sweep
Oh.
you off your feet and just pluck you from obscurity? Because I know what that feeling is like because I watched the movie A Star Is Born, directed by Bradley Cooper. My only
I
Best
thought you
Picture
meant because
nominee.
that's what you did to me.
Because that, and also Carrie knows because I did it to her.
And you have an alcohol problem.
and I have an alcoholism
Yeah.
problem.
No.
And
Star
you
Is
piss
Born.
yourself all the time.
Oh my goodness.
That's why I was amazed you were willing to like have cameras. in
My,
your space.
One of my favorite tweets was when Bradley Cooper was up there presenting something with Lady Gaga. Someone said, like, how funny, or like, what would it be if he reenacted that particular scene? So there's like little clips, little memes of that out there. But A Star Is Born.
Maybe he would have gotten the Best Director nomination if he'd done that. Who knows?
Yeah, it's very strange for him not to have been nominated for Best Director. I
my
know you
number
feel.
3.
I know, but it's my number 4. Your number 3.
Yeah.
What
we're
do
just
you
we're
have?
staggering.
You're staggering because you are clearly drunk because you somehow managed to think this is one of the 5 best films of the year.
Oh, you have to. So when you get to the end of the year and you think back to what were the things that just still weigh on you, and if something's still weighing on you
Sure.
after months and months, like that means something.
Terrible second act for me. Was bored. But the open.
Sounds like a top 4 of the year.
Well, but it's a bad year for me.
Sure,
And
sure,
that's
sure.
what I
That's
was.
true.
That's what I was saying is. But like to as far as a romantic movie or a love story, best love story for the. Let me make sure. Yeah, best love story for sure.
All right.
Still, and
It's like-
I really like the music personally. I really like the songs.
I did too. I like the songs
not Lady
too,
Gaga songs
and I
as much,
felt
but-
totally in the movie, and I to the point too where it's like I have 2 movies now that I don't think I'll ever watch this again, which is the same thing as Titanic, which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
How do you not watch Titanic again?
How could you take yourself through that again?
Because it's pleasurable.
I couldn't.
I do it
I
Often.
wept in my car after it was over, much like Titanic. I was humming the song for weeks, and when I was humming, I was also crying. So it's like it was
And
it was
part
my
of it is
recent
his
Titanic.
Jackson Maine is Bradley Cooper's character is just so damn charming, and
He's
you
just-
keep wanting him to get back
You're like, just
to
pull
his
yourself
peak.
together.
Yeah, you just want that so bad. I mean, for me, that's what I kept. Yeah, I'll be thinking about this movie for some time.
Tim's
Unfortunately,
thinking about it too, about how he's not coming back because
look at his face. Now people can with displeasure. Nobody on the site mentioned A Star Is Born, which is crazy to me.
I didn't expect it to be on
what
your
it's
list.
worth.
You didn't?
No.
This is the second year in review podcast I have recorded. The other one was not with you guys, so I'm cheating on you again. The other two people on that podcast both liked A Star Is Born, and they're both grad students.
Okay,
so,
we're in good company.
so a lot of people are stupid.
They're studying math, but
No, they're studying pictures.
So yeah, that good pick.
Yeah,
Good pick.
we're lining up as well.
Okay, fist bump.
There we go. All right, Tim.
Right. So it's to my number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Incredibles is great, but you know what's better?
My number 2.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
All right.
Oh wow, a
Number
three-way.
2.
Well, we can't
Number
do this
2.
anymore because now we're on
Too far
different sides
away.
of the road. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's just
It's a flawless movie.
it's flawless.
Yeah.
It's undiluted. It's apparently got at least half a star's worth of flaw.
For me, it's like a gymnast capping out there. Like it could never get to me more than 4.5. Like there's nothing it could do like that for that movie. For my taste of movies, it caps out. It got
Since
a perfect
when do
score.
you not like superhero movies?
I do like superhero, but superhero animated, like for me, that would cap out at 4.5. I don't know what else it could do.
I mean, to
Did
me,
you give it 5?
I give 5.
Yeah. I
To
probably
To me,
should
this
reassess.
is just like
I think I gave it 4.5.
undiluted pleasure.
It was a pleasurable movie to
Like
watch.
it's just about color and the movement and space and this wonderful character, Miles Morales, like this teenage boy figuring out who he is and how he's special because he's different from other people, but also because he like can draw from other people. Amazing story, amazing animation,
I cried twice.
wildly
parts?
stylized.
I can't talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I cried twice though. At least
Yeah.
twice. And so did our Abby did another like.
Oh, yeah. Our daughter cried.
Single tear
I'm
thing.
actually really embarrassed that so situational story, we needed to see this movie in this particular week and couldn't find a babysitter. So we're like, we checked the common sense, like, can we take our 4 and 7-year-old? And they basically said, no, don't. It's very violent. But we did anyway. And so we were like, I mean, you don't want to go to a movie with kids. We're in this tiny theater and we're trying to keep our kids quiet as they're asking questions and stuff like that. And we're with all adults.
You understand though that it's a cartoon.
No,
But it was really violent.
common sense that you could take.
Our
so-
4-year-old, yeah.
A 4-year-old's
4-year-old,
pushing it.
not
The
our
7-year-old should not have been a
Hey, our
problem.
4-year-old was like, whatever.
But
didn't care.
they're a
Abby
little
was
bit
sad
reversed.
though.
Yeah,
like she was
sad.
asking questions and was like, she was sad by it.
It was
so good.
It was good, thrilling, great comedy.
A great comedy.
And this is Phil Lord driven. Like he
Yeah,
had a hand
Lord
in
and
it.
Miller were producers. Lord co-wrote it.
Okay.
Directed by 3 individuals whose names evade me because there's 3 of them. But just an incredible.
I got him. Bob Peruschetti, Peter Ramsey, who did Rise of the Guardians, and Rodney Rothman, who did something called Lord. All kind of like first timers. Like, and I mean, obviously Rise of the Guardians. But yeah, not a lot of acclaim in the animation styling is something that I'd never seen.
Oh, it's
before,
never been
really.
done before.
What is the thing where it goes kind of blurry? So it's like it almost looked like for a second, like, is this 3D? Like, am I forgetting glasses?
Trying to
Yeah.
evoke that. It's giving like this sort of red. It's separating the 4 colors. So comic books are magenta, cyan, blue, and black, and it's kind of trying to like separate them out a little bit and like show you like a comic book kind of decoalescing and then regrouping itself.
Yeah.
Is there any chance? I think we all have this higher than Incredibles, obviously. Is there any chance for an Oscar?
Oh, it's clearly the front runner.
Oh, it is?
Absolutely.
Because Pixar, I just figured it's an automatic that's
No,
Pixar.
I mean, as you say, it is Pixar, so Incredibles 2 could easily win, but no, I think at this point, almost everyone's going to be predicting
good.
Spider-Verse.
I really hope for it, as does viewers Stevie Brigda and WBTN. Also
All right.
had it on there.
Cool.
on the
I
list.
did not expect that overlap either.
I wouldn't have expected you to have it.
I
I'm sure
really
Rob
enjoyed it. I almost got into a letterbox fight on it too. So
With whom did you fight? Who does not like it?
somebody wrote, get this, somebody goes out there, they write, here's the review. Nah. NAH, nah. So then I wrote back, I was like, nah,
Yeah.
your face. Your mom's a nah. And then they wrote back and they were like, good one. I did
that's-
no.
yeah,
But I
that's-
was going to write that. Who writes a nah? Like you can't not like
social
this movie.
media encourages that kind of like dismissive cynicism.
Yeah, because it only has 97%. So there's a small group of
Assholes.
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 Just all you don't need to know these people.
How do you not enjoy that movie?
You don't need to know them.
I don't.
They're
I don't
criminals.
understand.
They should be shunned. They should be put on an island.
Yeah.
They should be
In a
starved. They
dumpster
should
of
only be
people.
given like
And I'm gonna write
thin
nah
gruel
on
to
the
eat.
dumpster.
I'm left with my number 2. How many do you have left?
I have my 2 and my 1.
You have your 2.
All right,
and
you
your
go
one, so
because
have
I'm
to
at
go.
my 1.
Yeah.
And
I'm
you
at
go
my
with your 2.
So my number 2, a film I'm sure you both
My
loved.
number 1.
It was the Argentine character comedy period piece
Roma.
Zama.
Oh.
The other
Roma's
Oma.
Mexican.
The
The
other
other.
Oma.
I can't believe Roma didn't make your list.
Roma didn't make my list.
That's
Roma's very good. A lot of very good movies
Yeah.
this year. A lot of
Yeah.
them. You don't know what my number 1 is.
That's true. Oh, that's true.
I mean, you do, but you don't.
I do.
Well, you should.
I
Rob does.
should?
I do.
Oh.
Anyway, Zama, filmed by Lucrecia Martel, who is one of the most exciting directors in the world right now. Really smart, funny movie about this colonial officer named Zama, who is a Spaniard, stranded kind of in South America. He hates everything about his life. He wants to go back to Europe. He can't. And it's just this kind of very mannered satire about how ridiculous and useless the colonial system was, that turns sort of as it goes along into this kind of very interestingly mystical story about like losing your mind in South America. So it's part of this tradition of like going to South America and going crazy movies, such as A Year of the Wrath of God and so on and so forth. But just a particularly well-made, beautifully acted, like some of the best acting of the year was in this movie. Just really satisfying in all possible ways. And again, it's like the best satire I can imagine. Definitely an art film. I would not recommend this to either one of you,
No.
but I really loved it. I saw it.
Did other people like it too?
Oh yeah, it was the film that my peer group, like the people I interact with at UW-Madison, more 5 stars for this movie than I think any other film, except maybe Spider-Verse.
And you don't think they were just saying that to like make you happy and
No.
no?
That would be a
They
very
believe.
bizarre thing for them to do.
I thought it was your students.
No, my peers.
Oh, okay.
Is it up for best foreign language?
It is not. It was a 2017
Oh, it's
production.
2000.
So.
Okay.
Zama.
Zama.
Okay.
All right, Kara,
So
I'm
it's
going to
your
let
number-
you talk about your number 1, which
All
is
right.
going to be my number 2.
Really?
I'm assuming.
Oh, I hope so.
I'm pretty
It makes so if this is your number 2, it will reaffirm my feelings for you
Okay.
and why I married you.
Okay.
Because if you love this movie, it just inherently makes you a good person.
Let's see if we're on the same page here. This is the movie when people ask me what movie
I'm like tearing up a little bit.
what movie they should see. If you can continually give the same recommendation, obviously you like this movie. So this is the movie when people ask me, "Oh, what movie? I haven't seen a lot of movies lately. Like, which movie should I check out?" This one was the one that I gave out every time.
So you're not going to reaffirm
wanna-
my love for you.
I have
basically, can tell, yeah.
absolutely no idea what movie y'all are
then
talking
never
about.
mind.
I'm going with my life affirming choice of the year. My life affirming. Like,
Oh God.
Oh, we were.
Oh, we were joking about this in the
joking that
car.
You can't be serious.
It is. It was like,
You can't be serious. You are just such a patter of.
what do you mean a patter?
You
What's a
pat-
patter?
There's no way you like this movie.
Are we talking about this?
I don't
so I
know.
have Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Oh, okay.
What did you think she was talking
Life
about?
itself.
Oh fuck no.
Because
No, she wasn't talking
kept
about life
saying
itself.
life. Because you kept saying life. So
No, I meant
No.
Life
Okay.
affirming because Mr. Rogers really is what life
Okay.
is.
Yeah, no,
the
when I heard life
intention of
affirming,
life.
I knew where you were taking
okay.
this.
And I
Yeah.
was so scared.
But not your number 2?
No, it's
So
not.
I don't, it's not
No, the
affirming my
marriage
love
is
for you.
over.
No,
Okay.
the marriage is a sham. So I had to, it was 5 stars for me. When I
Yes, it
actually
was.
look back, it was my only 5 star of the year.
But that's
I-
because you were lying to boost your scores for your summer prediction game.
Naturally, but I still chose it. This is something that I would watch this over and over again. I would recommend it to people, and it was something that I need to watch weekly to continue to be better. Like this was, I loved this movie. And
It's good to love things.
and
As Fred
this is
Rogers
the one.
would teach
Is this
us.
the one that you were saying? Oh God, too.
Yep.
Oh,
I knew
okay.
exactly. The minute you said life affirming,
Yeah.
I knew where you were going.
But it was hard because is it entertainment value through the roof? No. Spider-Man is if I had to go for entertainment value of like what I would recommend to somebody that I'd pass on the street, I would say Spider-Man. But if I want you to not be a douchebag, I would be like, go watch Won't You Be My Neighbor.
I feel like
Well,
we should just be watching it on
I
loop.
have watched it, and I am a douchebag. So
But
therefore,
it seems like after you saw it for like a brief period, you were less douchey.
was I douchey when I gave it a 3-star review?
I mean,
But see,
yeah.
before watching it, you might have been at like a 2.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
that's true. So I had to put it there.
And you're even, I mean, now people can see, but you're even tearing up a little bit.
I
talking about
know.
it.
He's very important
Whenever
to
we
me.
say that on the podcast, I feel like people don't believe us.
They
But
don't
now-
believe
now
me.
they'll
Oh no.
know.
Yeah, they'll know. It's glistening.
They'll also know
Yeah.
that you're flat out liar.
Why?
Because
I
when-
forget. I have no idea what yours
So
is.
my number 2, Care, stranger bumps into you right now.
Okay. Stranger bumps into me.
Stranger bumps into you. Hey, so your movie review critic person,
Yeah.
like, hey, what movie would you recommend? You know nothing about them. What
I
movie?
always say game night.
It is freaking game night.
That was this year?
That was this year.
That was this year?
That was this year. A little better than Mr. Rogers?
No.
Oh, come on.
But maybe on my list, that's my go-to recommendation.
It is the go-to recommendation
Oh,
for us.
I
when
think
we
I
do
only at the
this.
time gave it 4 stars though.
Directed by John Francis Daly, starring the lovable Jason Bateman,
Good
the lovable
pick.
Rachel McAdams. But I also want to highlight Jesse freaking Flemons in this, who's the
Tostito chip guy?
Yeah, Tostito chip guy. This is about, because
I
again,
think you might mean Jesse Prekin Plemons.
nice. I like that. Good ad. A group of friends who meet regularly for game nights find themselves entangled in a real life, kind of like Caper.
I forgot that was this
oh,
year.
This year.
Most recommended movie from me. And I don't recommend.
There's a difference between recommendation though.
Mission Impossible Fallout, because you never know. You don't know what people like. You might run into a Carrie who just hates freaking action movies. But you didn't like it? Like,
No, he liked
Oh, I
Game
liked it a
Night.
oh, you liked it a lot. Okay.
He
There
liked it
is
for a
no-
different reason though, because it was a little art. It was doing some arty
It was
things.
a comedy that had like halfway satisfactory cinematography.
Unfortunately,
Like
it also is one of those movies where some critics, 84%. But I don't understand how you could sit through this movie and say,
I don't know how
didn't
you
like
could
it.
not like it.
Well, a lot of the jokes are sort of like, hey,
Perfect.
you know what movie we've all seen? We've all seen Game of Thrones. Ta-da!
Right.
And like, that's the joke. And those
Yes.
are shitty jokes.
But I laughed out loud so many
Over
times
and
this
over.
movie. It's the movie that, other than Mission Impossible, like I think about quite a bit.
But it's
as
the
well, too.
easiest to recommend.
Easiest
because
to recommend.
It's
To
something
me,
that you know
Spider-Man
everyone
is
will
much
like.
easier to recommend, frankly.
But again, like you might run into some who are just like my dad. He can't do
then
animation.
Your dad can suck it.
I feel like every person can find.
He can
find
watch
enjoyment
Won't You Be
in
My
Game Night.
Neighbor.
Yeah,
No, I don't think
But
that would
Game
help.
Night, my dad would
Your
like.
dad would like Game Night.
My dad would like Game Night.
Yeah.
And so for those who haven't seen it, highly recommend.
That was your number
Game
2.
Night. And nobody, yes, it was my second favorite movie of the year.
Okay.
As far as movies that I enjoyed, yes, that's my number 2. I'm all done. I'm all
Yep.
out.
So we get just my number 1, right?
Just your number 1.
What's my number 1, Rob?
It is Mandy.
It is Mandy.
It's you picked
It's
Mandy.
It's everything that whenever I go into a movie, secretly the only thing I want is color and sound and just to be like sort of flattened by just that, by just sensory overload. And it did that. It was the most sensory movie of the year. I felt like I spent an entire movie in a wind tunnel, but like a Technicolor wind tunnel
Yeah.
with Nick Cage wielding a
Who's the worst?
battle axe made out of chrome.
Okay. I
Brilliant.
remember you were selling me just as well as you are now on the last time we talked about it on another episode. I feel compelled as much as I did to see
It's
it
like
based
to
on
me
your
the
description.
essence of cinema, like what I care about with this medium is showing me things that I have not seen and could not see if this medium did not exist.
Is there content in addition to form?
Sure.
I know you care less about
Hey,
that.
you say sure, but I don't
It's-
kind of believe you when you the
It
way you
is
said it.
it has a plot. It's Nicolas Cage is getting revenge on a redneck death cult, basically. I think it does a very good job. So it's not just like image for the sake of image, it's image to like put you in the emotional state of Nicolas Cage's character. Like he is angry and he is sad and he is just disconsolate and feels like he gets lost everything in his life. And like the movie is all about sort of imbuing those feelings into the viewer through non-narrative means. Like the image is all about sort of driving you to feel what Nick Cage is feeling. So I think it's very, very contextual.
So somebody passes you on the street and they're like, "Hey Tim, you're my favorite film critic."
If I'm their favorite film critic, they're probably someone who would like
Okay,
Mandy.
what about if I said, "Hey Tim, I heard you're a film critic. What should I see?"
I think
came
you
out
should
this
see
year?
Mandy, Carrie.
See, nope.
Okay.
What Tim should recommend is Game Night. Is if a stranger came up to you,
I would not.
about
I would
the
not
movie.
recommend an R-rated comedy to a stranger.
Really.
I don't think I would.
Oh.
I do it all the time.
I would
You
probably.
still Spider-Verse.
I would recommend Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse
Out of
or
all the
Won't You
films
Be
that-
My Neighbor?
Out of all the films that have come up in this conversation,
Yeah,
Spider-Verse.
so
I would
yes, you
recommend
can't
most
not
to
like
strangers.
You can't
You
not like Won't
Mr.
You Be
Rogers.
My Neighbor.
Yes, it's a safe play.
It's like,
But you could not like You might not like documentaries. There's a
If
Which
you don't
one
like
did you say there was a
documentaries, I feel like
document-
Mr. Rogers is probably right about where you need to be.
So speaking of movies we don't like particularly well, what was the least favorite movie for you all? this
I
year?
have so many questions. I have like one that just like supersedes all of the worst movies I've ever seen in my whole life.
Maybe we'll match up here. Will that be life affirming for you as well? If we
Not
match
as
up on
much as
worst?
if you
Okay.
had said, "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" Not
Okay.
nearly
So
as
I have
much.
two, but I think one might.
This one also made me cry, but for different reasons. So, am I going?
Yeah, sure.
With my worst of the year? Worst of the year, hands down, no competition. Probably will ever happen again, ever for this movie. So, if you do align with me, never see this movie, even though it is for free. This is The Other Side
Hey,
of the Wind.
we line up. Mary saved.
This is
Actually, it tied with Game Over Man, Tim. So for Orson Welles and the guys from
no. I think
From that
Game Over
show.
Man is probably
it
better.
would be a little step up for you. Okay.
My better friends with whom I podcasted earlier today.
The ones that liked,
one of them put Other
A
Side
Star
of
Is
the Wind
Born?
at number. Yeah, also put Other Side of the Wind at her number one. So
Wow.
maybe I should podcast with those people. and see.
It cuts
If
deep.
you don't want diversity of thought and opinions,
I want
That's it.
diversity of good thoughts.
We can't offer you that.
All right.
But this movie, I don't even like. I even wrote down a couple notes on it because I was like, how I tried to block it out afterwards because I felt a little bit traumatized. But it's just so weird, and so I can't actually tell you what was happening. There's these two guys.
Exactly what's happening.
Orson
It's a
Welles
very
in the
straightforward
movie?
plot. No,
Is-
he is not.
No, okay. So I thought maybe he was doing a cameo.
No.
Because there was these two guys that are like sitting in a dark room and they're just watching this naked woman.
They're watching. So this guy Hannaford is trying to make a modern style movie. So he's trying to make a European art film. He doesn't know how to make one because he's an old school Hollywood director. So it's this terrible, pretentious, indulgent naked lady mess. And after they screen it and it goes very badly, everyone goes to his house for a party. It's
Where
very
was the
straightforward.
party? I don't even
At his
know.
house.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
a big-
the
yeah.
90% of the movie was the party.
Place at the party.
No, I know, but it kept cutting back and forth between the lady and then the guy was naked
Well,
for a while.
they were screening the same movie at the party.
I thought maybe they were at like a strip club for a while. Like
That's in the movie.
There
in
was
the
a
movie
strip
within
club?
the movie. Not a strip. It's like a nightclub of some sort where she goes.
I thought there was a strip club.
She's wearing some weird
I
clothes.
had no idea what was happening in this movie. Was there a short person in there too?
There
Running?
was a short person. in it,
What
yes.
is his role in this?
Because it was the 70s and people liked sort of making fun of short people by having them come to party to be made
It was
fun
very strange and oddly placed, and I don't know what was happening. And it dragged on. It was super long too, so it was like 17 hours, and I couldn't make it through. I did
think
make
if
it
I had
through.
more context, maybe for Orson Welles, 'cause I'm sure it's like him, right? Like,
Yes.
It's who this is about.
of. It is a grand statement.
Yes.
I mean, I can't imagine he made anything else other than this because who would watch this? You know,
well, this was his last incompleted movie, and that Netflix helped.
it
Fund
was a
the
joke, but he's
completion
done
of it.
other things. What?
yes.
Citizen Kane.
Oh, Citizen Kane, but that
Magnificent
one didn't do
Ambersons,
so well.
Touch of Evil.
When you get to your AFI Top 100,
I haven't even
Trial,
talked about that
China
yet.
Midnight.
that'll be that's number one on your list.
I haven't even talked about that yet.
Yeah.
So, this is the worst movie I've ever seen. I think probably in my life, close to The Witch. Maybe I can't think of anything worse.
Tim's so angry, so much anger.
So it's genuinely just the most terrible thing. It's like golf on a Sunday. It'll put you right to sleep because it's just you want to will yourself into a coma.
Tim,
So-
your worst movie?
Won't you be my neighbor?
Yeah, that's what you have time to adjust your pick now.
I would love to say it's life itself, just to like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
No,
but it's
that was
not.
bad. Yeah.
It's very bad. It's extraordinarily bad. It's painfully bad, and I think the person who made me watch it should be flogged in the public square. But my worst movie of the year was actually Proud Mary, an action film from last January, so it's a year old at this point, that literally is not, it's incompetent at a level that I did not realize a professionally funded movie could be. They don't know how to record sound in this movie. Like, it's inept and stupid and bad action, terribly written characters, absolute garbage, deeply unpleasant to watch.
Henson's, what's her first
Taraji
name?
P. Henson.
Taraji P.
Did you see
Henson,
this one, Rep?
No, I know a little bit about it, but
Would I like it?
Probably.
Probably would be
You would
so
probably think
good.
it's life-affirming. No, you would not. You would not like it at all.
well, every week we also ask you to share your picks and thoughts for a chance to win a free Amazon movie rental. Based on the results, here were the top 5 picks for movies of 2000.
Okay,
He's still angry.
I know.
Tim's not alone with the top 5. Tied for number 5, we have Mandy and
Okay.
Sorry to Bother You.
Sorry to Bother You was good.
Yeah. Tied at number 4, Black Klansman and Shoplifter. Shoplifter's a
Shoplifter's
movie.
I
is
thought
really good.
Shoplifters
I
would
feel
make your
like
list,
maybe that
actually.
might
My
be
top
something
5.
I
You gave
see.
it 5 stars.
4.5.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Also nominated for Best Foreign Language.
Best foreign language.
I actually
Foreign
want to
language,
see that one.
It's quite good.
Again, finally, I'm showing up here on the list. Tied at number 3, Mission Impossible Fallout and Roma.
What?
Tied at number 3.
What list is this? Where are we
A
pulling
good
this
one. You know what won't be on this list? The Mr. Rogers film.
from? They forgot about it. Just like they did at the Oscars. How did it not make top documentary?
Because the
It's not a
documentary
good
branch
documentary. Yeah.
demonstrated taste.
Standing Alone at number 2, and the reason why Karen and I wanted to catch up with The Favorite is we thought we were missing out on something. I think we were okay without. We ended up seeing The Favorite.
It was
fine,
It was fine. It was good.
but it did not.
It made my
it was
top
funny.
10.
And I thought it was funny. It
was
got me
funny.
on humor. It was really
It was funny. Best Yorgos Lanthimos movie.
Tim, you mentioned earlier what your favorite quote was for the movie. Did you want to mention that?
Yes, it's when
You know,
Olivia
it's so-
Colman is explaining to her spurned lover why she enjoys her current lover, and her defense is, I like it when she puts her tongue in me.
It's funny because when I was saying that, I was trying to like embarrass you, and then I didn't actually think you were going to say it out loud. But then you just
She's
did.
referring to
Embarrass
cunnilingus.
yourself.
And now I feel embarrassed back. So thank you for deflecting that back
It's
to
when
me.
you perform oral sex on a woman by placing your tongue inside her vagina.
I didn't expect
This
it
would
to
be something
a,
that in your marriage, I'm not surprised you know nothing about.
This is when I wish we weren't on video. But is she really a lesbian?
None of them are.
Wait, what do you mean?
All 3 actresses are straight.
Oh, okay.
Although Rachel Weisz is kind of maybe bi-curious,
Yeah.
but the other 2 are definitely straight.
But why? Just
why
because she's
not?
lonely?
Because the people breed.
Oh,
so-
okay. Okay.
Or do you mean why in the movie are they?
No, why in the movie? Well, yeah, why
Well,
in the
in
movie?
the movie, it's to tell a story.
Oh, okay.
It's very unlikely that any of them were gay in real life, but we would not really have specific knowledge of that because
Interesting.
they would have been like burned. at the
Interesting.
stake.
Interesting. Yeah, I thought it was good. Worth seeing. Worth seeing.
Very much so.
And at number 1, not only for our audience, but I believe it was Letterboxd, the highest rated movie in Letterboxd, Spider-Man Into the
Yeah.
Spider-Verse. As it
Makes
should be.
sense.
Yeah,
Makes
as it
sense.
should be. Very hype on the list. Our winner this week was Michael Matula, who wrote in with the
Congratulations,
following
Michael.
list. Yeah, congratulations. Sorry to Bother You at number 1,
Okay.
Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse, Mission Impossible, Mandy, and Annihilation. Nice blend.
Very nice
Annihilation,
choice.
I forgot about that one.
Yes.
Annihilation also made my top 10.
Okay. And Michael, shoot us an email at contact@alternateending for details on how to claim your free Amazon movie rental. If you want to win a free Amazon movie rental like Michael, be on the lookout for our top 5 movie posts on Facebook or Twitter to share your favorite picks. In closing, I want to thank everybody for almost spending an hour, a little over an hour and a half with us. Go out to our Facebook page and like it. Head out to Twitter where we're tweeting all the time. Alternateending.com. You'll find all of our movie reviews, podcasts, and more. And be sure to check out our YouTube and Facebook. We're actually posting videos on both of those places now, too. We'd appreciate going and supporting that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Gucci.
Nice. Not quite.
Yes,
That's at
done.
the end. That's at the end of the video.
Oh,
but
sorry.
yes, that's,
Sorry.
but no, it works. It works.
How did that not make your top
Yeah, I
5?
feel like that's a top.
It was a 4. I think it was a 4 for
Yeah.
me. I liked it.
I enjoyed it, too.
Too real.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google. And please don't forget about the Patreon. So what are we doing next? Oscars are coming out
Oscars.
next.
Yeah.
So what do
we're
we
gonna
have to
a
do?
special Oscar episode.
So yeah, we're not really going to have any new episodes probably in February just because we're going to still try to like work out how all of this is going to come together. But yeah, we will be recording hopefully some version of an Oscar postmortem. So that'll be the next time we get together unless something terribly exciting and important happens.
Another outbreak of some sort of virus, but we're going to be going over our movies that we caught in February, as well as looking forward to our movies in March, as well as doing a little bit of an Oscar.
And
Oscar
then
recap.
starting in March, we'll be get back in the swing of top 5.
Get some top 5. So we will catch you next time.
Tune in to Alternate